Random thoughts. In this video, we are going to read parts of Ibn Battuta's book, Travels of Ibn Battuta, which is a book that covers his travels that happened between 1325 and 1353, which is a long time. And these are travels that took him from his home in Tangier, Morocco, northern part of Morocco today. He went to Egypt, Alexandria, then he traveled all the way to Medina and Mecca, went to Yemen, Persia. Now he comes to Zeila in Africa, and at this point he's in Mogadishu. And in the previous video, I told you about, or we read part of his book where he describes what will happen, or what happened during the Friday prayers, and how the Sultan then will be present, and the performance of the military and all that state functions that will happen as part of the Friday prayers. Now, in this video, we are going to read about him telling us, or we are going to read the part of his book where he tells us about the court proceedings that happened on Saturdays. That's the day after Friday. And they are kind of unique from court proceedings in other, you can say, commonwealths, and he records it down, and we are going to read and see how different or how unique Mogadishu court proceedings went. He tells us, on the Saturday, the population comes to the Sheikh's gate and they sit in particles outside his residence. The Qadi, jurists, sheriffs, men of religion, sheikhs, and those who have made the pilgrimage go into the second audience hall where they sit on platforms prepared for that purpose. So it seems like people come on, they sit in a hall that is in the Sultan's residence. The Qadi will be on a platform by himself, and each class of persons on the platform proper to them. So different people are given different platforms to sit on, which is shared by no others. The Sheikh then takes his seat in his hall and sends for the Qadi, who sits down on his left. Thereafter, the jurists enter, and the principal men amongst them sit down in the front of the Sheikh, while the remainder salute and withdraw. Next, the sheriffs come in, their principal men sit down in front of him, and the remainder salute and withdraw. If they are guests, they sit on the sheikh's right. Next to the sheikhs and pilgrims come in, and their principal's men sit, and the rest salute and withdraw. Then come the viziers, the emirs, and then the officers of the troops, and groups after group, and they salute and withdraw. Food is brought in, the Qadi and sheriffs and all those who are sitting in the hall eat in the presence of the sheikh, and he eats with them. If he wishes to honor one of his principal emirs, he sent for him, and the latter eats with them. So the sultan or the sheikh will sit, and there is food brought, and he sits with, we can say, officials, and if there is a special guest, they can join them in that high table, you can call it, and eat with them. He continues to say, the rest of the people eat in the dining hall. So everybody else eats in the dining hall. An order of eating is the same as their order of entry into the sheikh's presence. So the order in which people came into the hall or the sheikh's presence is the order in which food is served. The sheikh then goes into his residence, and the Qadi with the viziers, the private secretary, and 4 of the principal emirs sit for the deciding cases among the population and the petitioners. So after the eating is done, the sheikh will leave and go to his residence, and then the Qadi and the private secretary, and the emirs now will sit to listen to cases that are brought by the people. He continues to say, every case that is concerned with the rulings of the divine law is decided by the Qadi. So any case that has to involve divine law, which I guess is a Sharia law, would be decided by the Qadi there and then. All cases other than those are decided by members of the council. So members of the council present will decide other cases, that is to say the vizier and the emirs. In the event that there is a case that needs the input of the sultan, then a message is sent to him, and this is what he says about that. If any case calls for consultation of the sultan, they write to him about it, and he sends out the reply to them immediately on the reverse of the document as determined by his judgment. So they will send a message to him written, and he will look at that message, and then he will reply and have the message returned to the Qadi and the council. And these two is their fixed custom. So Battuta says that that's a fixed custom of the people of Mogadishu. So that's what Battuta tells us, or Ibn Battuta tells us about the court proceedings in Mogadishu in 1330. Maybe he was there in 1330, a few years after he left Tangier, which was 1325. So that's how cases were handled in Mogadishu. Those are my random thoughts.